Hey, I've been looking at your file with your pitch. It looks like you still need work, but that's why you're here. Because this video is going to be on the 10 steps on how to do a fast pitch. So I hear you hear a teacher telling you about this fast pitch competition. Here, stay right there. And you're saying to yourself, what's this fast pitch competition all about? So a fast pitch competition is a place where you take your business idea and you explain it. Here, come on, pay attention. And you explain in 60 seconds exactly what it is that pitch is all about. By the time you're done explaining in 60 seconds, the audience knows exactly what your business idea is all about. And hey, maybe you'll get some investors. But the competition gives out scholarships. That's what you want. So what's step number one to the 10 steps of the fast pitch formula? Step number one, an opening hook. An opening hook grabs the attention of your audience and engages them. So you can ask a question, ask something like, who here likes video games? Or who here likes surfboards? And when they answer that, that engages the audience and pulls them a little bit closer. That leads to our step number two, which is softball. Softball transition, step two. That's when you ask the audience, have you ever had this problem? And they'll answer. They'll be like, oh yeah, I experience that problem all the time. That leads us to our step number three. Step number three tells you what's the solution. And so our businesses, what they do is that they solve problems. And we solve problems for exchange of money and currency. And so your solution statement will say something like, and we've been able to solve that problem by doing X, Y, and Z. So if you're a product, well, how does your product solve that problem? If it's a service, how does it solve the problem? Step four, value proposition. How does your business create value in your customers' eyes? Does it save them money? Does it save them energy? Does it help them be able to spend more time with their family members after before and after product use? So how does your product actually just improve the person's life? And that's something you want to mention too. Point number five, market and customer. Who are you selling this product or service to? You got to know this, because you're going to be able to communicate to that audience how is it that they're going to receive it better. So if they're high school students, make vocabulary that in your pitch that would communicate to them. If they're doctors, you would have to also have vocabulary that would fit to them. But you have to know who is it that you're selling it to, because if you can explain who is it that's going to be buying your product or service, you can describe how you're going to reach them, whether it be with a website or through a Google search. You got to know where it is that your customers are shopping at, and so you can define them, like how old they are, where they shop. Point number six, business model. So a business model is how your business actually makes money. And so how much does it actually cost you to actually make the product? And so are your costs more than your profit? Because that's not a good business model. A good business model is profits are higher than your costs. That way, obviously, you got to make some money. That's what we mean by a business model. Point number seven, unfair advantage. What unfair advantage do you have against your competition? And so let's, for an example, McDonald's invents the hamburger. Does that mean that nobody else invented another style of hamburger? No, that just means that somebody else, like The Habit or Carl's Jr. came in and he started charbroil. That means that, we got flavor, extra flavor, and that's what competitive advantage is. It's what does your product do that distinguishes you from everybody else? That's a big feature. Point number eight, expertise. So I know you're a high school student, and I know you're not an expert, but how do you become an expert in your pitch? If you're building a rocket, you need to go to a rocket scientist to be able to ask them, is this the best way to be able to build it? And then they'll tell you their expert advice, and then you use that expert advice in your pitch in order to become the expert. And so that's a little secret I learned. You get to interview an expert, and that's how you become an expert, by using their tips. Step number 9, call to action. So call to action is something that you tell your audience to do in order to get more information about your service or your product. It could be like, oh, you can find my product at a website, or you could find my product at Walmart, or if you want to buy it, you can go to Amazon. So a call to action is having the audience be able to engage with your product in some which way. And last but not least is a strong finish. A strong finish, you tell your audience the name of your product or service. You tell them thank you very much for listening to you, and then you just walk off stage. You just can't finish a strong if you just go, I'm finished. No, you gotta say thank you very much for listening to this, and with that, we're finished with this video. So down in the links below, you'll find a filled out PDF of the 10 tips for fast pitch. There is a filled out one and then a blank one. A filled out one to give you examples, and a blank one for you to be able to fill out and be able to formulate your perfect fast pitch. And so after that, we have one more video, and that's our pitch presentation. And that's where if you already have an idea and you have the formula to be able to do the words for the perfect pitch, but how do you present it? It's our last video that we have for you. It's our communication pitch video. And so the links are down below. Check us out. And so I'll see you in the next video.